Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're doing something truly extraordinary. Thanks to the power of AI, we have managed to bring one of the most powerful pharaohs in history into our virtual studio. He ruled Egypt for 66 years, built monuments that still stand today, and his legacy is the stuff of legend. Please give a warm welcome. Pharaoh Ramses II. Great Pharaoh, thank you for this honor. To our audience, what you are about to witness is a simulation powered by AI, but the history is real. Let's begin. Mighty Ramses, you were groomed for power from a young age. What is one memory from your childhood that truly shaped the ruler you became? I remember standing beside my father Seti as he showed me the grand temples he was building at Abydos. The air was thick with the dust of creation. The sound of chisels on stone was a constant song. He placed his hand on my shoulder and said, "Son, this stone is eternal. Our name carved upon it will be eternal. This is your duty, to ensure that Egypt and the name of your family are remembered by the gods and by men forever." It wasn't about power for its own sake, it was about permanence. The weight of eternity settled upon me that day, not as a burden, but as a purpose. I knew then that I would not just build, I would build on a scale that would make the very stars take notice. Every statue, every temple, every city I built was a fulfillment of that promise I made to my father and to myself in the dust of Abydos. You are often depicted in statues and reliefs as a heroic and godlike figure. How much of this is the real Ramses, and how much is political image-making? Is the sun's image in the Nile the real sun, or is it a reflection? Both are true. I am a man, yes. I feel the desert heat and the weight of my crown. But I am also the chosen of Amun-Ra, his son on earth. The statues you see, the colossal figures that guard my temples, they are not mere stone. They are the embodiment of divine will. When my people look upon my image, they do not just see Ramses, son of Seti. They see the strength of Egypt, the might of our gods, and the promise of of order and justice. The image and the man are one. To separate them is to misunderstand the very nature of kingship. My divinity is not a costume I wear. It is the force that moves through me for the glory and protection of my people. The image is the truth made manifest for all to see. Let us talk about one of the most defining moments of your reign, the Battle of Kadesh against the Hittites. Your monuments proclaim a great victory. Can you walk us through that day from your perspective, Kadesh? You speak of the day I stood alone against fate. The Hittite king Muwatalli was a coward and a liar. He sent false deserters to tell me his army was far away, luring my division, the division of Ammon, into a trap. We were isolated near the city of Kadesh when 2,500 of his chariots smashed into our flank. My men broke. They fled. Panic was a disease, spreading through the ranks, but I did not flee. I put on my armor, mounted my chariot, Victory in Thebes, and called upon my Father, Amen. I charged into the heart of the enemy, not once, but 6 times. The strength of the God filled me. My single chariot became a wall of fire. I cut them down like reeds. Seeing my stand, my men rallied. We drove the Hittite dogs into the Orontes River. They drowned, grasping for life. It was not a battle, it was a testament to single Pharaoh, abandoned by his men but protected by his God, turned certain defeat into a glorious triumph that will be sung of for all eternity. With all respect, Your Majesty, historical records from the Hittites suggest the battle was more of a stalemate, leading to the first recorded peace treaty in history. Why is the narrative of a decisive victory so important to you, even if the reality was more complex? Respect. You speak of Hittite lies as historical records. The narrative, as you call it, is the truth that matters. What is the purpose of a king if not to inspire his people? Does a shepherd tell his flock about every wolf that circled the camp at night, or does he show them the green pastures he led them to? At Kadesh, I faced betrayal, ambush, and overwhelming odds. I did not break. I did not surrender. I snatched my army from the jaws of annihilation. That is the victory. The treaty that followed was a negotiation between equals, something the Hittites would never have considered had I not shown them my divine fury on that field. The story carved on my temple walls is not just about a battle. It is a lesson for every Egyptian. It teaches them that even when you are alone and surrounded by chaos, with the favor of the gods and courage in your heart, you are invincible. That is the victory, and it is absolute. Beyond the battles and monuments, you are also known for your great love for your favorite wife, Queen Nefertari. The temple you built for her at Abu Simbel is breathtaking. What was it about her that captured the heart of a god king? Nefertari. Her name means the most beautiful of them all, and it was an understatement. Many women are beautiful, but Nefertari, she was beauty itself. When she walked into a room, the very light seemed to bend toward her. But it was not just her face. Her mind was as sharp as any scribe's, her counsel as wise as any vizier's. She understood the weight of my crown. When I returned from campaigns, weary and stained with the dust of the world, she was my oasis. In her presence, I was not just Pharaoh. I was a man who was deeply loved. She was the calm in my storm, the quiet melody beneath the thunder of my reign. Building her temple at Abu Simbel, making her a goddess alongside Hathor, was the only fitting tribute. It was to say to the world, and to the gods themselves, that her love was as essential as the sun. She was, quite simply, the one for whom the sun shines. You lived to be over 90 years old, an incredible age for the time. You outlived many of your children and loved ones. How did such profound loss affect you, and what gave you the strength to continue ruling? To live long is a gift from the gods, but it is a gift with a sharp edge. Each loss, Nefertari, my firstborn son, Amen-Her-Hepeshef, so many others. Each was a stone taken from the temple of my heart, leaving an empty space. A pharaoh is not supposed to show such weakness, but in the quiet of the palace, the silence they left behind was deafening. What gave me strength? Duty. Egypt is a ship on the great river of time, and I am its captain. A captain cannot abandon the tiller, no matter the storms that rage in his own soul. My children who passed into the West would live on through my reign. My love for Nefertari would be immortalized in stone. My grief was a private river, but my duty was a public monument. I continued to rule because Egypt needed a pharaoh, and because every new temple I built, every boundary I secured, was a promise kept to those I had lost. Their memory became the fuel for my legacy. Great Pharaoh, if you could see your legacy today, ... Your mummy lies preserved in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, and millions of people from around the world visit your temples. What is the most surprising, or perhaps confusing, thing about the world today and how it remembers you? It is bewildering. That my own body, the vessel of my Ka, would be a spectacle behind glass for strange people in strange clothes to gaze upon. It is a violation I never could have conceived. A king's tomb is sacred, a portal to the afterlife, not a destination for public amusement. Yet, I also see the truth in my father's words. The stones have endured. You speak my name. Millions journey to see what I have built. So, while you have failed to respect the sanctity of my eternal rest, you have fulfilled my deepest desire to be remembered. You remember me not just as a name on a papyrus scroll, but through the monuments I raised to the gods and to Egypt. It is a confusing duality. You dishonor the man, but you honor the legend. Perhaps, in your strange future, this is the only form of immortality that remains. If you could leave one final message for humanity 3,000 years into your future, what would it be? Look upon my works and understand. Your lives are fleeting, like whispers in the wind. Your devices, your hurried words, your fleeting concerns, they will all turn to dust. What endures? What you build with purpose. what you love with passion, what you defend with courage. Do not waste your brief time on this earth. Carve your name onto eternity, not with arrogance, but with deeds that will outlast you. Build something worthy of being remembered. Love someone so greatly that their memory becomes a temple. Defend your truths as if a god fights by your side. Live a life that is not a quiet apology, but a grand statement. Let your legacy be your pyramid. There you have it. A conversation with Ramses the Great. What did you think? Was he what you expected? Let us know in the comments which historical figure we should interview next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next journey through time. Thank you for watching.